Today we are going to finish up 11.4 multiplying and dividing rational expressions with a focus on dividing rational expressions. It works just like dividing fractions, where when you divide fractions you have to multiply by the reciprocal, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to change the problem to multiplication and then follow the same exact steps that we did yesterday. So let's take a look at number 1. I have 3x over 5 divided by x over 15. Now you might be tempted to simplify this diagonal here, but you can't simplify until the problem is multiplying. So your first step whenever you have a division problem is to rewrite the problem as multiplying by the reciprocal. So this is going to be 3x over 5 times 15 over x. And once you do that, you can then simplify it. So monomial on this diagonal, so I'll divide them by 5. Monomial and monomial, common factor of x. And then I can multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. It would be 9 over 1, or just 9. Still need excluded values. X cannot equal. For the first denominator, it was a monomial with no variable, so no excluded factor. The second denominator is a monomial with a variable x, so x cannot equal 0. But with division, you have to check one more denominator because originally this was the denominator of the original problem, but it is a monomial with no variable, so it did not contain an excluded value. So the only excluded value here is going to be 0. So that's the correct answer, 9, where x cannot equal 0. Number 11, again, division. First step is to rewrite it as multiplying. So again, keep the first fraction, 8 over w minus 4 times reciprocal, w minus 4 over w. Again, check your diagonals. 8 and w are monomials. They have no common factor, so I can't simplify. Binomial and binomial, and they are exactly the same, so they are going to simplify to 1. And then we multiply. 8 times 1 is 8. 1 times w is w. The correct answer is 8 over w. Excluded values. In this denominator, can't be 4. In this denominator, can't be 0. Go back up to my original problem and check this denominator. 4, but I already wrote it, so that's good. My correct answer here is 8 over w, where w cannot equal 4 or 0. 12. Again, division. So the first step is to rewrite it as a multiply problem. So 6n minus 2 over 6n, first one always stays the same, times the reciprocal, 27 over 3n minus 1. Now we can simplify. A lot of people see this 6n and think, oh, I'm just going to cross them off. Remember, it doesn't work that way. This is a binomial and this is a monomial. You can't cross them off. So again, check your diagonals. 6n and 27, they have a common factor of 3. Binomial and binomial, you want to factor them. So this first one here has a GCF of 2. This one here cannot be factored, but again, they're grouped together. And what you see when we factored is we have this common factor of 3n minus 1. This one's left with 2, which is why I didn't write anything. So we've simplified, but I did notice the 2 in my numerator and denominator, and they are both monomials, so I can simplify this a little further. This original fraction was not simplified. So if I divide them by 2, I'm left with 1 here, and I'm left with just a single n there. And now I can multiply. 1 times 9 is 9. N times 1 is n, so the correct answer here is 9 over n. Excluded values, n cannot equal. Monomial, 0. Here we would solve this. 3n minus 1 cannot equal 0. So 3n cannot equal positive 1. Divide by 3. N cannot equal 1/3. And then go back to my original problem. The denominator of the second fraction is a monomial with no variable, so there is no other excluded value. So the excluded value here is just 0 and 1/3. And that is the answer. Number 3. Looks fun, doesn't it? First thing that you're going to do is you are going to rewrite the problem as multiplying. So it's going to be 4x squared minus 25 over x squared minus 16 times 2x squared minus 8x over 12x plus 30. All right, check our diagonals. Polynomial and polynomial, we're going to have to factor them. So this is a difference of 2 squares. So this will be x plus 4, x minus 4. This one here has a GCF of 2x. And that'll give me x minus 4. And we have a common factor of x minus 4, so we can cross those off. The other diagonal, and this is a difference of 2 squares, 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5. This one here has a GCF of 6. And 2x plus 5. And our 2x plus 5s can cancel out. One last thing I want to check is I see the 2 and the 6. They're both monomials now, and so I can simplify that. So this one is going to then become a 3. And this one is going to become a singular x. So when I go to multiply that, I have x times 2x minus 5, so that will be distributing. So 2x squared minus 5x over 3 times x plus 4, which is 3x plus 12. And our excluded values, x cannot equal. Again, denominators. Negative 4 for that first one. Positive 4 for that second one. Here, 2x plus 5 can't equal 0. You would solve that. I'm going to tell you that's going to be negative 5 over 2. And then going to my original denominator, which was this 2x squared minus 8x, I can check its factor. And I have a monomial here, so that would make 0, another excluded value. And this one here is positive 4, but I already wrote that. So those are all my excluded values. This is the answer. All right, number 14. P squared minus p minus 6 over p plus 1 divided by p squared minus 4. First thing I want to do is I want to make this a fraction, so I'm going to put it over 1. And then I'm going to rewrite it as a multiply problem. So p squared minus p minus 6 over p plus 1 times reciprocal 1 over p squared minus 4. And now we want to try to simplify. So I have a monomial and a binomial. So I'm going to put the binomial in parentheses, but there's nothing that I can do. Here I have a trinomial and a binomial, so I need to factor. This is going to be p minus 3 times p plus 2. This one here is a difference of 2 squares, so p plus 2, p minus 2, minus 2. And if I look, I have this common factor here of p plus 2, and that's it. So I'm going to multiply p minus 3 times 1. I'm going to want to distribute. So that's going to be p minus 3 over. And I have this binomial and times this binomial, so I'm going to want to FOIL. P times p is p squared. P times negative 2 is negative 2p. 1 times p is p. And 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Going to simplify that. P minus 3 over p squared minus p minus 2. And now I need my excluded values. P cannot equal negative 1, negative 2, positive 2, and my original denominator was a monomial with no variable, so that is going to be it. All right, go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try to take number 15 to its conclusion. Make sure that you simplify and that you state all the excluded values. Okay, hopefully you got g minus 1 over g. Remember, we can't simplify this anymore because it's a binomial with a monomial. That's a big, big idea. And one thing I'm curious about is when you did your excluded value, did you remember positive 1? Again, from the original fraction. 1 would make this 0, so we have to include that as an excluded value. So the answer here is g minus 1 over g. All right, that's it for today. You have some problems to work on, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.